Roy Sugimura, currently working as the head of Japan national body for SC42. And the reason why I'm interested in SC42, coming from the fact that the standardization always has a role to support very universal development of knowledge. Especially for the scientific and engineering field. And I believe this work must have very huge impact to every type of the industry and every type of the people, because AI is fundamentally related to the knowledge. Because the development of a human being coming from facts that we accumulate universality of knowledge that can be applied to any time, anywhere in the world. So foundation of the standardization will contribute the development and innovation in the world. This is the reason why I came here to work. And the impact to the Japanese industry is huge. Currently the AI is very, what to say, daily buzzwords. So everyone talks about AI. However, industry perspective, they are very, in some extent, conservative to utilize AI, because as you know, AI sometimes exceeds maybe the competence of human being. Sometimes it's very scary. So they need to have some very common understanding about AI through the industries. After that, they will be very easy. For them, it must be very easy to utilize AI for industry. So currently, the Japanese industry, of course, started to utilize AI. However, I believe after having a very basic standard for AI, maybe the Japan industry will go forward more rapidly and more effectively.
Hi, my name is Wa'il Diab. I'm the chair of the Joint Committee of ISO and IEC on Artificial Intelligence. And I'm here with the team that is responsible for ISO IEC 42001, which is our management system standards. So I'm going to turn over to the convener and ask him to introduce himself and tell us why there was a need for this and what is so important about the standard.
My name is Paul Cotton. I represent Canada at the expert level in SC42, and as Wa'il said, I'm the convener of Working Group 1, which was responsible for foundational standards, including 42001, the management system standard for AI. So Canada was the original proposer of this project because we really felt that the world was going to need a way of doing conformity assessment for responsible AI. And Canada is excited about the possibility of this document now being published because it's going to be extremely important in different geographies from a regulatory point of view.
Thank you, Paul. So we've heard management system standards, conformity assessment, that's a lot of words. I'm going to turn over to our expert in this area and ask, well, what does that actually mean and why it's important?
Thank you, Will. My name is Kim Lucy, and I am an expert in management system standards. Essentially, what you will be able to do as an organization who implements 42001 is be audited by a third party and receive a certification. So once you implement this management system standard in your organization with its clauses for management practices as well as system level controls, you'll be able to be audited and receive a certification saying that you have implemented these processes for responsible AI. What that can do is show your customers that you have implemented these processes and controls, as well as show that within your supply chain, people who rely on you, that you've that you have implemented these processes. So it becomes really, really important. And as Paul mentioned as well, there are regulations all around the world, in Canada, the EU AI Act, that are going to have and that already have requirements around responsible AI that this management system, implementing it, certifying to it, will help you comply with.
Now we want to talk about a little bit about what this globally might mean, what the impact is, and for that I'm going to turn over to the project leader for ISO IEC 42001, Marta.
Thanks, Wael. My name is Marta Janszarsky, as mentioned, the project lead for the development of this particular standard. And I think one thing that's really important to note is SC42's diverse participation that enabled this particular standard to be able to meet those expectations of creating an audit-ready standard. We were able to get various types of industries, various types of university and research facilities that were providing comments, as well as regulators. Further to that, we were able to provide and review this draft from the lens of different civil society groups and interest stakeholders. So we're very excited to be able to have that global input and then looking forward to the global adoption of this particular standard.
Welcome to the world of innovation and connectivity. I am Jo Kops, and I would like to introduce you to the International Electrotechnical Commission, the IEC, where we shape the future of technology. We set the foundation for standards and conformity assessment across various technological domains, from smart manufacturing to cloud computing and cybersecurity. The Internet of Things is another exciting and rapidly evolving domain where the IEC has a team of dedicated experts actively engaged in shaping its standards and ensuring its safe and efficient development. We are committed to fostering innovation and connectivity in the IoT space to create a more interconnected and sustainable world for everyone. You might ask, well, how do we make it all happen? Our work spans the entire electrotechnical sector and information and communication technology, creating a neutral and independent knowledge platform for nations to join global value chains. We empower companies to build products that are safe and efficient and universally accepted. We foster interoperability, connecting people and systems across the globe. Over 20,000 experts worldwide and countless more in member countries join us to shape a brighter future. Looking forward, we envision a world where digital technologies shape a sustainable, resilient and economically vibrant future for all. Imagine a world where fossil fuels are no longer needed for electricity and transportation. The digital and all-electric society is a focus of the IEC strategic plan, and the IoT plays a vital role in this vision. Before diving into practical examples of how the IoT brings this vision to life, let me ask a fundamental question. What is the IoT, really? It's a term we often hear but understand in different ways. One of our key goals is to provide a common language and define concepts that experts can use worldwide. Contrary to popular belief, the IoT is not a technology. The IEC defines the IoT as an infrastructure of interconnected entities, people, systems and information resources together with services, all responding to information coming from the physical and virtual world. This definition is the backbone of all IEC technical committees. Now, let's explore some practical applications. The IoT supports the transition to renewable energy through smart grid applications. IEC standards facilitate real-time data collection, two-way communication and monitoring, empowering utilities to manage decentralized electricity production and troubleshoot outages. And here is yet another application. The IoT revolutionizes smart cities, enhancing urban services, transportation, waste management, public safety and health. The IOC Systems Committee for Smart Cities takes a holistic approach to standardization. The IoT, by definition, is data intensive, with most of the data coming from sensors. Sensors play a key role in facilitating IoT-based systems and applications. IEC's Technical Committee TC65 provides standards for industrial automation that lay the foundation for various applications such as smart manufacturing, water purification systems and even cybersecurity. IEC 47 specifies requirements for power interfaces in automotive vehicle sensors. And there is more. The Joint IEC and ISO Committee on IoT, SC41, sets standards for the Internet of Things and digital twin, ensuring safety, reliability and compatibility across various applications. Our work enables trust by addressing major IoT challenges, including security, privacy, reliability, resilience and scalability. IEC standards and conformity assessment ensure the ethical and responsible use of IoT in a digital and all-electric society. All our efforts create a seamless, connected and sustainable environment where IoT devices and technologies work together, paving a way for a cleaner, technologically advanced and highly interconnected all-electric society. Join us in shaping the future, the IEC, where innovation connects us all.
DFFT, data free flow with trust. You gotta keep in mind, Taro Kono, the guy that we showed in all these clips, always introducing us all over the place, every chance he can get. Well, if you weren't aware, it talks about this whole thing of today's digital economy fueled by data. Any action, basically, taken in the digital economy, whether it be buying a good or selling a service or accessing a piece of information, requires the creation and transfer of data and lots of it. More than 221 zettabytes of data, or roughly enough to store 110.5 trillion movies, will exist in the world by 2026, and much of this data will flow across national borders. These cross-border data flows do not just support the digital economy, they are also invaluable for improving the efficiency and resilience of trade in goods and services online and on the ground. Cross-border data flows also, I mentioned this last time, I can never get that term right. But yeah, it plays a factor in key government functions such as efforts to safeguard national security, track cross-border carbon emissions, and even deliver medical assistance. Now, when I got more into this, I said to myself, DFFT, is there actually like working groups in regards to DFFT? Well, the answer is yes. It's not just Taro Kono being like, yeah, boom, pound my chest, DFFT. I'm going to take it to this. And this is one of the main things to pay attention to tonight. So, again, please smash that like. Let's see if we can get over 400 tonight. Not too bad. And you're going to hear straight from this guy some key things I think are very, very well worth pointing out. This is DFFT, Data Free Flow with Trust. This is 10 months ago. But the point is, this comes from DataX, which is Data Society Alliance. And what you're going to see here is in regards to the International Data Space Association, the Japan Digital Trust Forum, which is the JDTF. Also mentions IEEE in regards to data trading systems. Is this guy going to mention an ISO standard? Yes, he's going to mention ISO standard. Why mention that out, and especially when it comes to Jasmy? I'm telling you flat out, here's one of your aha moments. Let's go ahead and play this. We're going to point out not just one, but 2 ISO standards in regards to Jasmy. I know it sounds absolutely bonkers. Listen to this. You need to pay attention to this. I don't care how distracted you are. This is your Main key takeaway, other than what we talk about in regards to medical here in a bit. Gotta listen to this. Here we go.
Every 2 weeks we have the meeting, and we are expecting to finish the drafting work at least this year. Ask to the board of directors to approve the first draft, and afterwards we expect to escalate to ISO IEC JTC1. That is fast track mechanism. So I think but we do not specify any. We do not specify too much detailed things. Like only we are drafting about reference architectures and definition of terminology and fundamental things. For example, we do not specify any method of identifier. But if you are a data provider, you have to describe or provide who can validate your trustness. So if you have some ID in some trust service, you have to disclose that. That is a specification, very simple specification, not details. And for data catalog, we do not specify any particular methodology creating data catalog. But we request everyone have to have the catalog to advertise what kind of data you want to provide, and that help data user discover the data set. So then catalog should be at least have to have this kind of topics, and we recommend to use existing standard to create catalog like a W3C, DCAT method or something like that.
Did you hear what he said? Just in case you missed it, he mentioned ISO IEC JTC1. Then he also mentioned that particular thing about WEC, right, guys? Back to NeoX tricks and that particular patent in regards to that. Why did Max share all that? Because I have to make a solid outline, all right? Because if I don't, it's just fluff. So, key takeaway, again, and this is from the DFFT Data Free Flow with Trust, what is it, guys? The Data Society Alliance. I'm going to talk about like working groups, okay? Let's take you over to what he specifically mentioned. And again, you can watch this if you choose to do so. It's literally on YouTube. You can watch the full video. I'll drop it in the comments for anybody who wants to nerd it out, but it's an hour and 32 minutes. So here it is for you guys. But it's, the Data Society Alliance, a society alliance, literally working groups. Every single person you see here is represented from particular countries. Japan, I think Germany. There was a guy from France, okay? But what about this ISO standard that you just heard that gentleman talk about that's part of that panel? Because we are talking about standards. Let's talk about this particular ISO standard. I know it sounds crazy, guys. I know it sounds absolutely nuts, but let's talk about the standard. So let's take you to just, the Wikipedia site. It's okay. Let's go ahead and get into this. So we talk obviously about ISO 222 when it comes to, a real solution that solves a problem when it comes to cross-border payments. And, obviously, XRP always is thought of, Stellar, the other ISO coins. There's ISO TC 307, the Quant Network standard. But this particular standard, ISO IEC JTC 1, why should we pay attention to that? There's no announcement from Jasmy about them being this ISO standard. Max, you're just doing this for clickbait. No, I'm not. I would not provide you guys information unless I fully try to convert it for myself. So I will state this. Jasmy, currently speaking, is not ISO IEC JTC 1 yet, but can they be? My answer is yes. Let me provide you information of why I found, call it my thesis if you want, or why the answer is yes. Let's go ahead and pull this up. Again, smash the like. This is one of your aha moments in regards to this. And we're not even done yet. We're not even close to being done yet in regards to this. Oh, was the other reference for that other particular company at the beginning of the outline, was that the other ISO standard? No. All right, that was just an example. This is one of two ISO standards. It'd be amazing just to have one. We have literally 2. All right, let's get more into this outline of why this is important. So you're going to see here ISO IEC JTC1 entitled Information Technology is a joint technical committee of the International Organizations for Standardization, ISO, and International Electrotechnical Convention, which is IEC. Important to develop, maintain, and promote standards in the fields of information, communications, technology, ICT. There's a lot of history behind this. It was formed in 1987, right? Goes on to mention in regards to all these things in regards to information technology, but talks about a lot of these things about standardization. So they had 2 apparent organizations, and it goes on to mention the development of domain and application of specific standards that be applicable to business domains while ensuring interoperation of functions of the standards on a consistent basis. As we get further into this, it talks about what happened in its first 15 years. Many standards that I'm still familiar with. Remember MPEG back in the day? If you used Web 1 back in the 90s, remember getting all those MPEGs? Remember how you had to download an MPEG, guys? And that would be the way that you get to watch a video. Now with, JavaScript, I'm sure Cool Cat's here. You can verify this as well. What was the big deal about JavaScript in Web 2? Well, say what you want for the guys that aren't, the nerds, if you will, who don't know about some of this stuff. JavaScript was so crucial because that is how you just naturally watch what you know, like even me, or videos on YouTube and so on, until we had things like JavaScript. But back in the day, it was MPEGs, and we didn't have the technology unless you had maybe broadband DSL back in the 90s, late 90s. You try to watch something, and you talk about buffering problems, right? So for me, a person that was on dial-up, what did I have to do? I had to download the MPEG and then watch it. Right? Pain in the butt. The point is this: standards. There's standards on anything. Plug in plug into the light socket, right? Your stove in your house, certain type of standard, right? Oil, standard oil. Get what I'm saying? Standards exist no matter what it is. But what about this particular standard? Guys, there's more. Let's take a look into this. So you'll see here where it talks about MPEGs. And what does it say right here? IC cards, smart cards, security, programming languages. Interesting, universal character set. Back in the early 2000s, the organization expanded its standards development into fields such as security. Look at this, guys. Here's your aha moment. Security, authentication, bandwidth collection or connection management, storage and data management. All this stuff represents what Jasmy does it not? Software and systems engineering, service protocols, portable computing devices. I don't know. Maybe like, for example, a Jasmy, like a Vita laptop, for example, and all the things tied into that. You kind of see where we're going with this. For more than 25 years, JTC1 provided standards development environment where experts come together to develop worldwide information and communication technology, ICT standards for business, consumer applications. JTC1 is also addressing critical areas as teleconferences, e-meetings, cloud data management interface, biometrics, identity management, sensor networks. For what? Smart grids. My God. Think about that. You could get more into this. Everything, if you think about what Jasmy does, is literally spelt all over this standard. Now, I get it for some of the guys who are like, yeah, that sounds cool, Max. Great research. Cool story, bro. I didn't see anything in regards to anybody from Jasmy boasting this or sharing this. It's just a giant coincidence. And I'd be with you. But you better believe that there's more. And why should we pay attention to all of this? Well, back to the Data Society Alliance. And you're going to see some things mentioned here. DataX promoted by the DSA. DataX platform aimed at data linkage beyond the federal type, in which existing attempts concerning data linkage cooperates with one another. Look what's all mentioned or shared here in this little I don't know, loading GIF. DataX allows a wide variety of data to be linked together, thereby encouraging a creation of new service and realizing a future society. I don't know, maybe Society 5.0, where innovation is generated in a sustainable manner. Jumping into the next part, look what it says here. Goes on to mention some of these things. And that is this alliance. The Data Society Alliance, the IEEE SA P3800WG DAWEX systems, hosts an international open forum on data society. Let me try to blow this up a little bit more for you guys, just in case you're boomer effing sooner sitting on his couch with his dog Monica. All right. But it's again, this collaboration, stakeholders from the IEEE, again, IEEE, I wonder who's part of that, and ISO international standards bodies. Meeting was held in Paris, France from February 12th to the 14th, 2024 in Paris, with participants in Europe, Japan, China, and even India. As we get more into this, you will see some of these key things, and that is in regards to the 18 organizations from industry, academia, government-made reports. Government-made reports? 68 people, 31 organizations at the meeting. They talked about the status reports from various organizations, engaged in lively discussions, data space, brokers, trading, regulation, governance related to data usage. Right there. Standardization, interoperability, trust frameworks. They're going to have other meetings. And when will the next one be held? The next one will be held in the fall of 2024. Now, we talk about some things that could be aha moments for Jasmy once again. But this thing about the establishment task force to discuss international standardization regarding interoperability among data spaces, task force that was established to promote international standardizations and how it's a joint effort. They're going to have more meetings about this. They're going to discuss more about some of these things. And I watched some of the full interviews. And again, I don't have this particular part, but you can watch the whole thing if you choose to do so. It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours. But they talk also in line with what Taro Kono was talking about in regards to, energizing the private sector. And say what you want when it comes to Jasmy, they're the ones that are part of that private sector. Again, like I've always mentioned before, who is your plug? Who is your connect? Okay? That's what I would be asking, right? Well, basically speaking, I want to take you to some of these other key things, right? Because it's all worth pointing out, to say the least. So I'm going to pull up some of this, and let me see about this for a second. So here it is, and here's your proof, if you will, okay? Because I know some of you guys want some proof, all right? So this whole thing, actually, let me just jump back to this. This is cited, and again, this is your aha moment, okay? This is cited from where? Let's full screen this. I've shown you guys this citation before. This is from researchgate.net. Let me just go ahead and drop it in the comments for any of the nerds, okay? So go here, verify it for yourself. Literally, verify it for yourself. Go there, and in the process of doing so, what does it say here on researchgate.net? Profile Tadashi Morita. This is Jasmy's Tadashi Morita. Sony Computer Science Laboratories. What does it mention here? Well, when we get into it, gives you a whole thing of like his resume, all the places that he's taught at, researched, what he's part of Sony Computer Sciences Laboratories. But here's your aha moment. From July 2012 to present, Sony Computer Sciences Laboratories. And look what it says, guys. DC microgrid system development, AC microgrid development, arc preventions technology. But here's your key takeaway. What the heck does that say? IEC SYC LVDC expert. Like LV means low voltage, by the way. And then, you know about DC microgrids. So IEC SYC? What? Are you serious? We have a connection here in regards to who? Back to this guy? And what did he mention? He mentioned ISO, did he not? And what specific ISO did he mention? He mentioned this ISO standard. And what does Max have from here? Well, it's this ISO standard of this particular one. And let's try to zoom in a little bit more about this. Boom. ISO IEC. Interesting. And it goes on to mention some of these other things. And I know, excuse me, some of you guys are gonna be like, oh, it just says ISO IEC. You know, there's a bunch of ISO IECs. It's not that exact one, Max. Shame on you for fluffing this up. Ha! Watch this. I type in a Control F because Control F is your best friend if you're in high school and college. By the way, all you guys going to college, get the ebook because you'll save you so much time in college. Okay? Do Control F, type in IEC space SYC. Comes up with a 101 result. Watch this. Boom. What does it say in the citation? What's it say in the citation? I know it's hard to see. I know it's super hard to see, but let's go over here and you will see that this right here, you have an agreement that dates back to December 6, 2019, and it's a liaison relationship, and it highlights IEC, SYC, what? Smart Cities, ISO, IEC, JTC 1, Working Groups 11, and what else does it also say? Oh my God. Internet of Things, the Smart Cities and Communication Standards Roadmap. Oh my goodness. Do we have a boil it, mash it, stick in a stew moment? Yeah, we do. Holy cow. Why isn't Jasmy ISO IEC JTC1 compliant? Because there's your proof. They should apply to this. Now, why haven't they applied to it? Well, guess what? Your answer should be that there is what? There is things that need to take place. They can't just have anybody be it. There's a process, just like anything. What's the process? Well, let's take you over to this. Smithers.com. No, nothing to do with Simpsons, but kind of interesting. Let's go ahead and full screen this. This is great stuff. I'd say that this is my best research ever. I stand by that. I literally stand by that. Because it is. Because this is what, how many people are invested into ISO tokens, coins, and so on, right? You're invested into it because, you're like, wow, wow, I mean, ISO is a big deal because it's standards, right? Standards. That's the bottom line, Well, it goes on to mention that specifically, it does take a certain amount of time for you to get the ISO certification, but ISO certification is a multi-step process. Generally takes a minimum of 6 months to a year from implementation to registration. Certification requires businesses to institute specific procedures and processes per the standard they choose, as well as allow certain set systems to be established and operational for a set amount of time. Once the initial audit is completed, the company will receive an official certification that is valid for 3 years if the proper audit days are performed yearly. For example, 12 and 24-month surveillance periods. What does ISO certification process entail? Well, has all of these stages. Stage 1 consists of initial assessment. And then, of course, Smithers, which I'm going to be honest, I haven't done a deep dive about Smithers, but Smithers will come to evaluate the company's QMS. Maybe Smithers is part of the audit on the surface. But, yeah, they'll lay out any regulatory requirements. They will also refine initial assessment, scope, and confirm the number of audit days required for assessment. So, guys, I want to tell you guys this, okay? Hold on a second. How many meme tokens have you seen in regards to, like, there's a Certic smart audit, right? If Jasmy wants to take this to the next level to get this ISO standard, this particular one, we have another one we're going to talk about. I'm telling you flat out, we have another one we're going to talk about. My God, right? But if they want to get on this particular one, then just like how CERC is, this is the audit system. I guess apparently I just discovered this myself, right? I can't get everything perfect 100%, but Smithers is the one for ISO. Interesting. Okay. Full screen this a little bit more. Talks about some other things. Of the requirements, stage 2 consists of observations, record reviews, personal interviews. Right, probably interviewing, some of the big ups of Jasmy. Upon completion, lead auditor will supply a written report of the results of the audit. Right, so there's a whole process, 30 to 45 days in regards to getting the actual certificate upon doing all this stuff. And of course, we can learn more. Guys, I'm telling you flat out, how cool is that? Some of you guys ask what cold storage solution I use. I use this, and it is the Decent wallet. All right. I also, of course, have a ledger like this. All right. You can get a discount basically from going into the affiliate link, which is in all the live video descriptions and recorded and so on. And for the yahoos that are out there, they're like, this is just a shield. And, we'll fix point this out. And it's a great point. Were you aware that you don't necessarily get a discount link just going straight to the site? No, you actually have to go through a platform like this. So how cool is that? I don't think anybody's complaining about that. But anyway, use the link, get a discount. There's another one here. If you're the type of person you want to get one for you and your significant other, you can get 2 of them. They actually have another promotion, which is this, and I think this is cool. You can get an all-in-one card wallet plus backup card package. Interesting. I thought that was cool. And again, one of the main key things I like about the Decent wallet is not having to do the red tape of jumping through all the hoops for XDC and the custom folder. I mean, Edward Vincent can vouch on that. Some of you guys can too as well in regards to Ledger. That was a pain in the butt. You don't have that problem. You literally open up your phone, it's on your app, track everything that's going on, right? And saying goes, not your keys, not your crypto. You know the drill. Check it all out though if you wish to do so. It is truly the cold storage solution that I use. For the most part, there's still some on Ledger that, I kind of split it up on and so on. So it is what it is. But if I have preference over one, I'm going with this one. A lot easier to use and so on. And some people, even to this day, still ask me which one to use.